How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here and welcome back to the latest season of World of Tanks, and this is Flames of War. And so we're going to have a look at the update information for, of course, the new season, which is coming on the 1st of August and will be lasting approximately about 6 to 8 weeks. So, of course, from 1st of August all the way till the 26th of September. So we're going to cover everything you'll need to know, the new tanks, which we do have some, and we'll cover some of the extras that we have along the way. So I think first things first, we can have a look at what Wargaming have added in with this new season, of course, in their own YouTube video. So let's quickly have a look at what this is. We will mute it just for the sake of it, just so that we can cover what is actually in here. So move swift as the wind and closely form as the wood. Attack like fire and be still as the mountain. Sun Tzu. Right, okay. I'm sure everyone who plays World of Tanks console is reading Sun Tzu. And of course it definitely applies to World of Tanks console. Oh dear. Right, so we have the new tank. A spark can shift the balance. Looks like we have Ruinberg in here, or it is Ruinberg for those who scorch. FV215B will reduce their enemies to ashes. Wow, I'm sure that it's going to be amazing. Look like we actually had a Flamethrower Churchill. So this was actually in the, I want to say something like the RU version, so like the Russian server or something like that. They introduced a flame-throwing Churchill. Don't know whether we'll actually see it. I'm assuming we will. Looks like we are going to get it. I'm wondering if there'll be anything else. So 3 seasonal rewards. We have the first one is the Mauer Breaker. It's actually a really good video actually, because previously they just had like images and video. So it's nice that they've broken it out into the actual tanks that we'll get. So Mauer Breaker. It's a tier 8 German heavy, super heavy, think of like a Mauschen, but of course at tier 8, very much like the typical tier 8 one as well. So the free pass, level 100 rewards, so that is where you'll be able to actually get it. What happens if you buy the season pass? So this is the 2000 gold pass. This one comes with the Object 292, which is a Detente era, so era 3, Eastern Alliance heavy tank. Looks pretty interesting. We've got the statistics of the vehicle later on in the article, so we can have a look at that, and we will do, of course. So looks like a pretty decent one. I'm assuming it's rank 100. So yeah, level 100, so you'll have to actually be able to get there, which is good. Obviously then we've got the IS-3 Auto, so this is a auto-loading version of the IS-3, surprise, surprise. And essentially it has like the stock IS-3 turret, but has the ability to fire 3 shells, I believe, from memory, with 390 alpha each, which is pretty decent. But at the end of the day, it has the stock IS-3 turret, and it's pretty inaccurate, and I don't think it's particularly overpowered or anything like that, but it's nice to see. We've also then got the very suspect AC4 experimental with this lovely, phallic object on the front of it that wiggles as well. So, at least they've put development into seeing it wiggle in the game. Yeah, very, very interesting indeed. But there you go. Then we have the Ultimate Season Pass. So this one usually costs, I believe it's like 6,000 to 6,500 gold. And this one is the new tier 10 French medium tank, the Project Murat. I don't think that this is available on any World of Tanks version, so this looks like it's a brand new one. And we've got the stats of the vehicle, we can have a look at it. So Ultimate Season Pass, you can literally play it on Tuesday when the update releases. You can just purchase it with the Ultimate Season Pass. You don't have to get to any level or anything like that to be able to play it. So we will do a review of this vehicle as soon as it comes out. I'll give you my opinion on it. Maybe you want to wait to actually purchase it till you've seen a few of the YouTubers for console actually review it, see what it's like, whether or not it's actually worth it. And of course you get 25 level skips. You also get a commander with the Ultimate Pass. And then of course returning map Ruinberg. So this is a map that was once in the game. Obviously it's not a new one, although it's a new one to the current rotation. So we do have Ruinberg coming back, which is a heavy dominant map. It's really good for heavy tanks. It's also good for mediums that fight in this area here, which you can see on screen. So essentially you have this area. These can get side shots into the heavies in the town. And yeah, that is basically the map. You have like 2 avenues that you can go down, and the town is pretty much the majority of the map, with this area up here where you can be ATD as well. So new map, or returning map. I'm really looking forward to actually having it back in the game. It was one of a very nice map. I'm surprised it's not come back sooner. So yeah, it's nice to have it all updated to the latest graphics and have that in the game. And then they've introduced Cold War medals round 2. I'm sure they'll have some information on this as we go through, so I'll give you an idea as to what that is. And then new feature. So they've brought in flamethrowers into the game. So this is the actual feature, flamethrowers. Not entirely sure how they'll work, how much damage they'll do, but I'm sure there will be one thing that's somehow broken on them. But yeah, that is the video from Wargaming. A nice actually laid out video there. Yeah, looking much better than the previous ones. At least we now know what is coming. So with that out of the way, let's get into more of the nitty gritty stuff, because I'm sure you want to know what is my opinion on the battle pass. Should you purchase it? What sort of rewards should you get the ultimate pass versus the normal pass? And straight off the bat, I'm gonna give my unfiltered opinion. You guys know whether, I promote tanks or whatever, very rarely. The season pass in World of Tanks, if you play at all, and basically, if you play more than 10 games a week, so, if you're playing like 80 games in a season, it's probably going to take you about 5 hours, right? So 5 hours to play 80 games. No, that's actually an under approximation. It'd probably take you like 10 hours, right? So you're playing 10 hours of World of Tanks to do 80 games just by playing 10 games a week during that season period. So you just have to weigh it up price per hour, how much you're actually spending to be able to get the battle pass. If you feel like that's a price worth spending, it's very much worth it. And also, once you've already purchased the season pass, you then get enough gold to cover the next season that will cost you 2,000 gold. So essentially, you get your gold back if you complete the season. And completing the season in World of Tanks, it is so easy. I'm not even joking. Like, as soon as you go through, the season gets very easy. It's just a nice one to have, and I highly recommend you do actually try and make your way to rank 100 to get the season pass gold value. So if you purchase a season pass, you will get 4.5 million silver. You will get the new project or the new IS-3A, Mauer Breaker, and also the Object 292, which is the new tank. And then you will also, if you don't have the season pass, be able to get the AC, or with the season pass even, you'll get the AC4 experimental. And so essentially you're just getting a ton of stuff with the season pass. You also get a load of key cards, and key cards are one of the best things from the season pass because you can get premium tanks out of them, and also they give you a guaranteed minimum amount of gold back. So not only are you getting the 2,100 gold, but you're also getting a guaranteed, like, I think it's in the region of about 1,500 gold in addition to just the actual value of gold that you're getting from the season pass. Let alone if you somehow manage to get a tank from these key cards, the 10% chance of getting a premium tank from them. So you've got 4 chances at 10%. So you could potentially get a premium tank, and if you own that premium tank already, you'll get the gold value back. So I've had it a few times now where I've opened these key cards from the season, ended up getting a tier 8 premium from one, and I get 13,000 gold added onto my account, which, covers multiple seasons of buying the ultimate season pass. So yeah, I mean, make of that what you will, decide on whether you want to spend the money, but for me personally, this is the best thing you can purchase for gold. But with that out of the way, obviously, we have the rewards from the season pass, and of course, the 25 levels completed for the ultimate season pass, the new tier 10 French medium, and Andre Lemaire, the 3D commander as well, so you can get that. Now, Flames of War, cosmetics and medal. So they have got the Flames of War season. You can get these cosmetics. I'm assuming that they are got through the battle pass. So that's always nice. And of course, yeah, looking pretty decent from that. And then also, in addition, if you do complete the season and you complete extra levels of the season, so you can actually go past rank 100. You just don't get any like hard rewards, if that makes sense. Like once you reach rank 100, you've got all of your consumables, your premium tanks, your gold, blah blah blah, and then you can continue it to get up those levels. And when you get up to level 118, you'll get a 25% commander XP bonus, and then at 24 additional levels, so 124, you'll get 25% more silver for every single game up until the end of the season. So, for example, if you are playing and you get to level 100, you get 25% vehicle XP bonus. So that's XP, like 25% extra for the whole season. You get to level 118, 25% commander XP and vehicle XP. Level 124, silver, commander XP and vehicle XP at a 25% addition. So really nice to have, and it's super good for grinding out silver and credits, and especially if they have a big silver operation or XP operation, it works on alongside with those. So yeah, it's amazing to earn the silver and XP and grind through tanks, etc. So really nice to have. Anyway, moving on, they usually have a starter pack, so this season is exactly the same. It is absolutely free. All you have to do is go to the store, and then you'll find it in the special items, I believe, and you just go across. There should be one that says £0 or $0 or 0 Canadian dollars or whatever country you're from. It will be 0 of that currency, and you just have to purchase it. It will pop up with your Microsoft store if you're on Xbox, or the PlayStation store if you're on PlayStation, obviously. And then, you know, it will just take you to the pay page where you don't pay anything. It's not costing you anything, but just make sure that it isn't costing you anything and you've picked the right bundle, because you don't want to be paying for something that you didn't want. Anyway. Moving swiftly on, Flames of War season tanks, obviously we talked about them. If you own them already, so the Malbreaker, the AC4, the IS3A, you'll get silver equivalent, which is nice, and that can be a nice boost. I'm sure I'll get a few of these, the silver equivalent back from them, because I own quite a few of them. We'll do reviews of each of these tanks so you know what they're all about for when they land in the game. And the Object 292, so this is the Eastern Alliance heavy tank. We can look at the statistics of the vehicle. They're all outlined here, so if you want to look through yourself, you can pause the video, but we'll go through some of the key attributes. So 3,850 hit points is nice, a silver bonus of 65%, which is crazy high, and it's going to be able to earn you a ton of credits in the game. You've got top speed of 70 kilometers an hour, power to weight ratio of 29, so it's very quick. You've got 4.5 degrees of gun depression, that sucks. 900 penetration and 760 damage. So think of this almost like what we have with the newest tank destroyer. So hopefully the armor isn't as broken as that one. Accuracy 0.31, which is fine. And yeah, damage per minute 4,400. Not outrageous, but not terrible, and certainly going to be able to be usable. So yeah, overall tank looks pretty decent. And of course you can see the space plates on the upper plate. Lower plate has these spaced flaps, and yeah, spaced on the side. So interesting to see how this plays. It might be a little bit broken, but we'll see in the game. Anyway, moving on, we then have this tier 10 World War II medium tank, which is what I'm most interested about, because I have no idea if this tank is going to be good. I guess we will have a look now to see if it is actually good. It has this weird double track system, so I mean that's an interesting feature. Didn't even realise that, but you can see it here in the picture. Tank characteristics, Project Murat. So 1900 hit points, that puts it pretty low at tier 10. So it's not got the most amount of hit points, although it's nothing terrible. I think like the Action X has similar sort of hit points. Power to weight ratio is insane for a medium tank. 29. That means it is going to be able to maintain its speed so well. It's going to be able to go up hills so well. It's not going to lose much speed when it's going up those hills. 60 kilometers an hour top speed as well, which means this tank is going to be one of the fastest mediums to move around, which makes me think the armor is probably going to be a little bit sucky. The gun depression, 12 degrees of gun depression. That is crazy. 12 degrees, one of the highest depressions within the game. Well, hopefully the tank doesn't give you that, but you know, either way, Very, very good. 12 degrees. Penetration 261 and 330 with the heat. So very, very good penetration on the standard rounds. More than enough for most tanks. And of course the premium, very good as well. HE, a little bit lackluster with 53 pen and 480 alpha. But, you know, you can't have everything. 0.32 accuracy, very good as well. And a 3-shot autoloader. 3-shot autoloader. That is going to be a nice little, 1170 damage in a clip and a reload of that autoloader for 28 seconds. Intra-clip reload, 2.5 seconds. Feels probably a little bit slow, but it's not the worst. I mean, it's pretty quick. So you should be able to retrack opponents fairly well. And of course, you've got then 410 view range, which is okay. So overall, this tank looks very interesting. I am uncertain as to how it'll play. You can see the armor it's just going to basically be a huge box of hit points for people to farm. But at the same time, it's hopefully going to be able to be pretty OP. Well, not hopefully pretty OP, but hopefully it's going to be decent to the point where we can actually play it and it doesn't just suck. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays. Hopefully Wargaming have done a good job of balancing it. But yeah, let me know what you think of this vehicle. And of course, the Cold War tank as well. And the season pass so far genuinely looks really interesting. Moving on, we then have the Commander. It's a Commander. I'm not going to hold you here for very long. You know, pause the video if you want to have a look at it. It's a 3D Commander. You can see them in the garage. They'll stand next to your tank doing this weird pose. It is what it is. And then, of course, season level buyouts. You can do your buyouts if you're interested. But yeah, you can gold skip. I would never recommend doing this unless, of course, you are right next to the rank 100 and you want to complete it to get the tanks and, you know, you're only like 1,000 gold away. Please avoid paying the entire season pass from the beginning in gold because it's going to cost you like 20k. It is not worth it and you can do it very, very quickly. The only reason you do it is if you wanted exclusive access to the tank straight away. But yeah, it's not going to be worth it. I would recommend avoiding paying with your season pass skips. But anyway, that is that. I'm very interested to see what they say about the flames, and I really want to see how the flames are going to actually work in the game. And of course, it was on a Churchill, which is a World War II tank, or at least World War II mode. So how is it going to play in the game? Let's just hope it's not broken or anything is broken about it. But we'll see how that actually works out. But let's jump over to the Q&A because I'm sure there is one and I'll see you in a sec. And today's Q&A, there are a few questions that we can go through. The first question being, since the start of the year, which tier 10 tank was 4-marked the most? The Objects 780 was apparently the most 4-marked tank, which 16 players managed to do it. I don't know if that's because it's the easiest one to actually 4-mark, but yeah. Interesting. It was a nice actual stat, actually. I'm interested to see what the most marked tier 10 was, which is strange because they never usually do these sorts of stuff. So if we could have more questions like this, it'd be good. Can we see the return of older maps like Live Oaks and Ensk? Yes, you shall. And that is what I like to hear. We like more maps coming back. Also looking forward to seeing some new maps coming out. So hopefully we get some more on the console. Could you add different support tanks in Cold War, like mine laying and mine clearing tanks, or maintenance vehicles that could repair tanks? Interesting enough, early on when we were planning for Cold War mode, we had some documentation and very early stage prototypes of other vehicles that would work well in Cold War. Tanks laying mines and picking them up were actually things we considered, and one of our tech designers set it up where you could spawn pillboxes to create some fortification with AI control. That was just one idea that got floated around. We did think about a tank that could go around and heal vehicles. Would we ever consider bringing these into the game? I won't say never. I know it's something you might like to see, but this would be adding new game mechanics to the game, and we want to do what is right and what feels appropriate. So maybe one day. So it's not the worst thing. I don't think that answer is necessarily terrible. So yeah, I think that's a good answer and something that is nice to see. So next one. Could you possibly readjust the sun's position on certain maps where we could see the sun in the horizon? This is something we're trying to keep an eye on, as not only can it strain your eyes, but it's also a balance issue, since, you know, one side might be able to see easier than the other side, which is obviously not what you want in a video game that is supposed to be balanced, but you know, we all know about balance. It can cast a shadow across one team and the other team constantly facing the sun. So this is something we are aware of, and we know that some maps may still have this in effect. We try our best to create a good atmospheric map, and a good example is Pearl River. We had a very picturesque sunset, but the gameplay would suffer, so we had to make adjustments. We can follow up on this and see what we can apply. So that's good news. Could we see the return of weather maps, especially in Cold War? Could we get night maps? We are talking about bringing back weather maps, and it always comes a conversation of bringing dynamic weather. In my opinion, terrible. On Cold War, probably wouldn't make such a difference since you could actually see the tanks, which would be good. But on World War II, it just basically meant tier 10s would have tier 2 view range, which meant essentially the team that has one person that YOLOs and spots everyone ends up winning, which is very undynamic gameplay. So dynamic maps and dynamic weather, yeah, not particularly great. In the past, we had a different version of map, and it was basically a carbon copy with just different weather. But what would make it a lot better for development is if we could keep it as a single map, but have a dynamic weather system, which would give a possibility of weather coming onto that map. It could be rain, it could be at night, but this would take up some heavy resources in our time. So it's something that we would like to do, but no plans at the moment. So this is a kind of resources problem as opposed to something that they would refuse to do, if that makes sense. Moving on, can you consider making some community request features? For example, total health pool of the teams. We can follow up and put a tick in for total team health. There may already be one, so this is something that would be nice to have. PC have it. Be good to know how much health is left on the enemy team and that sort of thing. So that would be a very nice little user kind of improvement, essentially. So a quality of life fix. Can we get a skin made for the batch at 25T? I can chat with the team and see if there's anything scheduled in the plan, so this would be good. Why don't we have any Australian commanders, Australian 3D commanders, and can we possibly get some with voiceover? We are always working on them, both fantasy and nation commanders. We do bring in some German, UK and USA, and maybe one day release an Australian commander, and we will mention voiceover would be great to include, which is good. Is there any way you could show marks of excellence of all our tanks in the garage? I believe there's a ticket for this. I think someone actually asked this a while back. So yeah, I do agree. We thought about putting in a tanks stats display. It's something we can consider in the future. I think the tank stats, that's absolutely fine. We don't need it to like pop up in the screen, but in the tank stats on the right hand side, be nice to just have the extra marks of excellence in there, which would be good. Will we see any newer versions of the Abrams from September 1999? No, we won't see any modern day tanks post 90s, etc. Our Cold War mode is focused on vehicles between the 50s and very early 90s. So that's their statement. They're not going to be doing any modern armor yet. Maybe will in the future, probably will, but I think what they're trying to do is just consolidate Cold War as a much wider range of vehicles that people can play, which is perfect for you guys that do play Cold War, and then they'll move on to the next mode that they'll probably just add in as an extension to like Era 4, Era 5, Era 6, Era 7, Era 8, blah blah blah. Anyway, hopefully that gave you an update news for the new season. Let me know what you thought of it. And of course, if you would change anything, also let me know. And I hope that you'll join me in the next video coming tomorrow. I'll see you there. Don't forget to join me live on Twitch TV /Chadley Walters, which I'll leave in the pinned comment if you're interested in having a look at some World of Tanks PC streaming that I'll be doing right now as the video goes live. And of course, you can always follow me there if you're interested in seeing it in the future. Thank you and goodbye.